Hey, Taurus. Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here, excited to bring to you your end of the year reading. Welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Taurus, where have you been and where are you going? So 2024 for you has been all about trusting in the divine unknown, because you have the matrix here showing up. So when this card shows up, it's about synchronicities and trusting the process here, trusting that there's something going on behind the scenes. And even if you can't quite see it, you're feeling it. And you've gone through a lot of unknowns, uncertainties is what I'm picking up on. I'm getting the moon energy showing up for you. So 2024 could have been full of illusions, maybe even secrets. There may have been a lot of subconscious energy that was brought to your conscious awareness. Things may have even been hidden from view, but something deep within you knew the truth. And I feel like there may have even been truths exposed with the divine matrix here. So yes, it's trusting the process and also paying attention to the signs and the synchronicities and really getting in tune with your own intuition, especially needed and required when I'm getting that moon energy coming in. So 2024 may have been full of unknowns. I feel like it may have been a little bit of a wild ride for you, but there's something within you that has prepared you for what's to come, because 2025, sneak peek here, you have endless possibilities. Endless possibilities, card 38. Some of you could be 38 or 44 years old, but this has to do about moving beyond limitations, moving beyond your beliefs that may have had you feeling trapped or had you feeling stuck or restless in an area of your life. And I feel like you've done a lot of reflection towards what has dissatisfied you. 2024, there's been a lot of reflection, especially because the subconscious is wanting to make itself conscious in an area of your life. But I feel like you have raised your vibration here. Yeah, you've raised your vibration, and now you are open to discovery. There's bits and pieces of yourself that you're also discovering. And this is your 2025 energy. So you see that there's a key and there is a door. So you're unlocking a new contract. Some of you are unlocking a new journey, a new path forward. And I feel like this could happen early on in 2025 for you. So this is quite exciting. And it's also saying that instead of feeling like there was only one way of doing things, again, that feeling of being trapped, the endless possibilities is saying, no, there's multiple ways, right? You don't have to stay in this one timeline. You can make a choice, because that's what timelines are choices. You can make a choice here to open up a new door, to open up a new possibility. And that's what I see you doing. But you've had to learn very important lessons, which we'll take a look at what those lessons are. But I am getting patience being one of them. I'm seeing the temperance energy and trust. Patience and trust may have been a few key themes for you throughout 2024. So let's take a look here, Taurus, at the current year in summary. Spirit, can we get a look into 2024, please, for Taurus? A look into 2024. All right. You have the World showing up right off the bat, the World, which is beautiful because this is a completion of a chapter. And that's what I'm getting here is you've closed the door on an area of your life that you've completed or graduated from. This is all about new beginnings, sacred contracts, and check this out, infinite possibilities. You have this showing up twice for you. You have endless and infinite, same meaning. But this is showing up for you, stating that you're closing the year on a high note. I feel like you haven't left any stones unturned. You have wrapped up, or you will wrap up anything that needs your attention so you can move into the new year feeling more open, feeling more free. There is something here about your wings are no longer clipped. Okay, maybe it felt like your wings were clipped and you weren't able to take something, off the ground, or you weren't able to rise above a situation. But I actually feel like you have been able to, or you're able to now see something from a higher perspective or a higher view. Now, the World card is all about an end of a major journey, because you started off at the Fool's Journey, the very beginning, and the World is the ending. It's the last card in the major arcana. So yeah, you are spreading your wings. Some of you are graduating. You could be getting married. This could be, a new beginning in your career. Some of you are moving, traveling. You're feeling victory, but basically the world is your oyster. And if there has been a sense of delayed gratification, or if this has been a long journey for you, I see that 2025 is opening that door. And you're holding the key. You absolutely are. You are holding the key. So let's look at the year in summary as well as the lessons. 8 of Pentacles. You've been mastering something here. You've been putting in the effort, putting in the work. The 8 of Pentacles is the card of apprenticeship, quality craftsmanship, and mastery. And I also love that it's represented by the giraffe, because again, the giraffe has an advantage point. Some of you could be very tall as well, but the giraffe has an advantage point because, he is tall and he has a long neck and he's able to see things from a higher perspective. And that includes reaching things from a higher perspective. Think of the tall person who can reach things on the top shelf, right? And I feel like you've been putting a lot of energy towards something very important in your waking life. This could be your craft, right? Your career. Maybe you are graduating with a diploma, with a certification, a PhD. You could be mastering a skill of yours, or perhaps that's part of the door that you are opening up into in 2025. So the 8 is beautiful here because we're also in an 8-year, 2024 adds up to 8. And so this has been the year of evolution. It has been the year of great progress. And I do see that you took advantage of that. So you are focusing on perfecting and crafting. Maybe perfecting isn't the right word because we can get lost in perfectionism, and I don't want you to do that. But I definitely feel like you've been making something better for yourself, okay? Because you've been consistent. That could also be part of what you've learned in 2024 is consistency, is drive, motivation, and knowing that if you want something, you're going to gain knowledge. You're going to learn about it. Everything is figure-outable. That's one of my favorite books. And I feel like that was a big key theme for you this year because there may have even been a lot to figure out, right? But now looking back, you're like, wow. That's true. Everything is figure-outable. And if it's out of my control, it's something that I need to let go of and trust that the universe has some bigger plans. Even if I can't quite see it, I have to trust. And again, trust and patience is showing up. Let's see. There's the Temperance. Yep. And that's that energy of patience that I was talking about earlier. So divine energy, perfect harmony. It's also the card of miracles represented by the manta ray here. So when the Temperance shows up, this is self-control. It is giving yourself and allowing yourself that tender loving care, taking care of you, taking care of your health, and moderating as well, because you may have noticed that pendulum in 2024 swung from side to side quite heavily, right? And so at times you may have been very healthy, right? Eating healthy and making sure you're staying hydrated. And then at other times you may have swung that pendulum and been completely unhealthy, right? And I feel like you're balancing more of that up, where you're not completely, cutting out every single thing and depriving yourself. But I also feel like you're blending and integrating energies. You're finding out what works for you. You're finding out how to balance your life in many areas. And that's what the temperance is about here, is knowing that you're not alone, because this is angelic presence. That's why you have the word miracles here. So there may have even been a miracle, many of them. And A Course in Miracles defines a miracle as a change in perspective, a shift in perception. So I feel like your perspective has shifted multiple times throughout the year. And now you're looking back and you're saying, wow, everything has worked out the way that it was intended. And you may still be questioning that at times here, but I feel like you're working more on harmonizing. You're working more on trusting in divine energy and knowing that you are not alone. All right, let's get one last lesson around 2024. And there's the Hanged Man. Those are both of the energies that I was picking up on earlier, Temperance and the Hanged Man. So patience here, along with, there's been a lot of stop and go, or there's been a lot of waiting for things to happen. A lot of trusting in the universe here, facing darkness, surrendering. The bat also has prophetic powers. The Hanged Man is a prophet. He goes through a spiritual awakening of, feeling very stuck. He feels very restricted, very trapped. But when he goes through this awakening, and that's the whole purpose behind feeling hung up, right? Hung upside down, where he's able to see things from a perspective that he wasn't able to gain prior. And sometimes the only way is to shift. There's that, again, Course in Miracles, to shift the perspective here. The Hanged Man is about an awakening. And I feel like you have been awakened numerous times throughout the year, where you actually have let go of some old beliefs, whether you realize it or not. I feel like you have let go of a lot. You've surrendered a lot more than you think. And because you have, the Temperance here is producing miracles. All right, let's look at how you are winding down the end of the year in relationships and emotions. Let's look at relationships and emotions. How are you winding down 2024 in that category? 3 of Pentacles, the Mouse. All right, this is about collaborating. So when it comes to relationships, this does talk about family, right? It talks about friendships and following your bliss, following your dreams. I also feel like you've been doing a lot of reflection and maybe even research into the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. Some of you may have felt small or felt like you were playing it small here with the Mouse. But I feel like you've had some big emotions come up for you. But when we have the 3 of Pentacles showing up as relationships and emotions, it feels like you are rising up to meet your soul tribe. You're activating something within yourself. You're not holding yourself back anymore. And if you have some emotions, right, I feel like you're honoring them. You're sharing them with others. You're letting people know how you feel. You're collaborating, and you're not going to shy back because it bears too high of a cost for you to not shine in your energy fully. So winding down 2024 looks beautiful. I feel like when it comes to your relationships and emotions, you are working with others. You could be talking to, friends. You could be talking to a therapist. You could be spending time with your family, which a lot of people do in December. But even if you are on your own, I feel like you know that you're not on your own. You're connecting to your spirit guides. You're connecting to your ancestors, your loved ones, your pets, because 3 talks about, you know, a team, and there is no I in team. And I feel like there's people around you come the end of 2024 here. All right, let's look at your career, work, and finances. How are you winding down 2024 in career, work, and finances? 10 of Cups. This is looking good. Beautiful energy here. Some of you, this is about lasting happiness and success. The 10 of Cups is about divine blessings. So there could be a blessing lining up for you. Some of you are feeling really good about some choices that you're making financially, some choices that you have made regarding your career. You could even be retiring or completing a chapter of your life, because 10s are about endings bringing in new beginnings. So there is a flow happening here with the 10 of Cups. This is about you reconnecting to what fulfills you in your career. So for those of you who have been navigating through some emotions of, does this fulfill me? Is this somewhere I see myself, you know, growing through retirement, or is it long term? You've been asking yourself some of the bigger questions when it comes to your career, your work, and finances. And I do see here there's a sense of togetherness. There's a sense of reconnecting to a part of your path that feels long term. And it feels like it's spiritually aligned with where you want to be. And this is where you are headed. So this is looking good. So even if it has had, your career has had some highs and some lows, I do feel like you're winding down the year on a high note. And you may be looking back now and saying, okay, I know that that didn't work, or I know that, you know, that was a tough spot for me, but I actually feel like there are some changes coming in, or you have a new direction in mind with, you know, some sort of new beginning coming in for you. Let's look at health and well-being. How is your health and well-being as we wind down 2024? Health and well-being for Taurus. Okay, the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner is the Knight of Swords. You've been busy. There is something here possibly about adrenals. Your adrenals may have felt, they may have felt wore down, or maybe some of you have struggled with sleep, or shutting down the brain, shutting down the mind. You know, when I get the Roadrunner, I think of, like, even though these are 2 different animals, like the Tasmanian devil, right? And just running around, sometimes like a chicken with your head cut off. So when it comes to your health and well-being, try to find balance. Try to focus on spiritual routines or health routines that help you reduce stress management. I am getting, again, the adrenals like being compromised in a sense, or it feels like, you know, courage. It says courage in action and the best of intentions. So sometimes December can be a very busy month, especially if you want to tie up any loose ends. So you could be running around, you know, focusing on a lot. I feel like time management is going to be your friend here, but also making sure that you take time to pause, reflect, and just slow down. Meditate, for those of you that like to meditate as a spiritual practice. I'm also getting, with this Knight of Swords, calm the mind. Calm the mind here, because sometimes this can be, you know, charging ahead. I'm going to charge ahead. I got a plan. I'm going to get it done. Bum, bum, bum. And I feel like you're good at that, right? If you have a plan and you have a direction, but stay hydrated, Taurus. Make sure that you're getting adequate sleep, because I do see here sleep patterns are affected. Some of you, you may say, well, Mel, I function good on, you know, 4 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep. Like, there's something here about taking a look at your sleep patterns, and maybe that is affected by your adrenals here as well. I'm also getting the root chakra. Just be careful of the legs, be careful of the root chakra, because they're highlighting the two cute little legs at the bottom here. And those two legs are holding up the body, right? So when it comes to our root chakra, which can be our hips, our, pubic bone, all the way down to our toes, it is the region that is formed between the ages of 0 and 7. And it's all about our safety, our security, grounding ourselves, who we are in the world. And I feel like you don't want to be running around with the chicken with your head cut off. So make sure you have a plan, make sure you're taking time for you, and also delegating. Delegate, ask for help, because otherwise your well-being could be compromised, and we don't want that for you. But overall, I feel like you're in good health, good shape. Some of you may be runners or walkers. Maybe you're walking your pet in the morning, or you are mentally staying on top of things. There's something here about getting back to mental clarity. So maybe brain fog or, memory has been a concern for you. But I feel like there's a sharpness. There's a feeling of being sharp and feeling more on top of things as we head into Capricorn season. All right, let's look at your spiritual energy and inner fulfillment. What do we have for spiritual energy winding down 2024? All right. The Nine of Swords, the Black Swan. Now, this kind of goes with the Roadrunner here in a bit. And the Nine of Swords is actually mental anguish. So the fact that this is showing up as, inner fulfillment tells me that you've been working hard on some shadows, and maybe even really processing, learning about the mind, learning about maybe psychology. Some of you could even be listening to guided meditations, hypnotherapy, diving into your belief system. And this is also the card of sleep. So we talk about that here with the Roadrunner. And it's about mental anguish, the shadow self. And it says time heals. Time heals. And that's part of the Temperance energy. So what I'm getting for you when it comes to your spiritual energy, you have come a very long way on your journey. Okay, and maybe that's part of why the world flipped out right away for you. It was your first card that flipped out that I could see. So maybe you've been on this long journey of mental anguish, of shadow work, and you're like, Mel, when is this shadow work going to end? Well, we're constantly working, right? And I see that especially in your energy. I am a Taurus North Node. So we're constantly working on bettering our lives, bettering our situations, our careers, our relationships. So we don't often sit idle. It's just not a thing, right? And I feel like it is important to make sure that you're not running on empty. Okay? Make sure that you are allowing yourself that time for you. And the Nine of Swords tells me that you have come a long way. You may have even been obsessive about your thoughts. There may have even been times here where you had to face your worst nightmare. You may have had times that monkey mind wouldn't free you in some way. It's like the monkey mind had its grips. And that is why it's showing up in your spiritual energy and inner fulfillment, because it's telling me that you've worked on this hugely. It's been instrumental to your life. You've worked on the mind, and it's still something you're working on here. But I definitely feel like it doesn't have the grips that it once did. You're realizing that the mind is a tool. And that, as I always say, the mind can build or it can destroy. And it's where we focus that energy. But sometimes that mental mind gets so wrapped up into a ball of twine, and we don't even know where to start. And I feel like you have healed a lot of your shadows. You've worked on them, talked to therapy, or, you know, you've been in therapy, you've done the reading, you've done the Reiki, perhaps, you know, all of the things that they say you should do to work on healing. I feel like you've done it here. But I also see with the inner fulfillment, you're embracing peace within yourself. And this is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful spot to be in. So when that Nine of Swords shows up, I feel like you've stepped beyond your comfort zone. And that's part of what Spirit wants you to remember as you journey through your life, is not being afraid to step outside the comfort zone. And I don't feel like you are afraid anymore. All right. Whew, that's a big one. Now, what is the best energy for you to focus on right now? What is the best energy, or what is the best thing to focus on at this time? All right, best energy here for Taurus. Two of Cups. Hello, partnerships. Hello, law of attraction. You have the warthog here, and this is about perfect harmony, sacred union, and mutual attraction. So I feel like this is loving yourself, loving your masculine and your feminine within you. And it can be about partnerships as well. It doesn't have to just be, you know, a romantic partnership, but this can be your friends, your family, your children, your parents, you know, even strangers, right? It can be about loving the people around you that support you, but it's also about, you know, connecting with this energy of yin and yang is what I'm getting here, basically. Some of you, this is about focusing on a togetherness instead of a separation. So I feel like there is something coming into union. Now, if this isn't a person per se, it can be, what are you wanting to attract and draw in? And are you that vibrational frequency so you can be that match for what it is that you truly want? And I feel like that's what you are focusing on at this time. So becoming a match towards what it is that you are wanting in your life the most. And for those of you that are in a relationship or a partnership of some sort, this doesn't have to just be, you know, again, a romantic sense, but it could be a friendship. Perhaps there is a healing or a mending or a coming together with this Two of Cups. I feel like you are working on becoming a match is what I'm getting. So whatever this is in your life, you are becoming that frequency, and you're going to see that it does come to you, that you don't even have to go searching for it, right? When you become a match, things around you start to magnetize and align you towards what it is that you are. So there's something quite profound showing up here with the Two of Cups. And I feel like this is important to keep in mind. This is what you are meant to focus on at this time. All right. What are the aspirations and the goals for the next 12 months? And speaking of next year, if I haven't said this yet, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe and bell button if you haven't already, because next week's reading will be for the yearly reading. Okay, it'll be a 12-month forecast for all of the months in 2025. So we have here aspirations and goals. Wow, you have some big ones. You have the Nine of Pentacles. You're graduating from that Eight of Pentacles to the Nine. Taurus, look out. You are creating a life that you love. This is a life that you are proud of. This is one of my personal favorite minor arcana cards, because the Nine of Pentacles, it really is heaven on earth. It is independent and expansive thinking. And you are going big. Right? I feel like you have made a contract. You made a soul contract, and you said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to go big. Right? I am not going to hold myself small. I'm going to learn all the lessons. I'm going to learn the expansiveness of emotions and feelings. I am going to have an entire vocabulary of emotions and experiences that I'm going to bring back with me. So bring it on. Show me everything. I feel like that's your energy that you had come to earth with. And even though at times you're like, Mel, I am tired. I am exhausted. I just want to rest. I don't want to be expansive. Well, your soul is never going to put you in a circumstance that you cannot handle, right? Everything that you are going through, you have the ability to move through it. And hopefully that can give you solace and that can give you hope during those times where it feels so tough that you cannot keep going. Because what I see you doing over the next 12 months is big. This is big. So I'm excited to dive into your yearly reading next week and take a look at this, dissect this, and really see what this expansive thinking means for you. So you're definitely hitting some big goals. You're reaching some dreams of yours that you've been working on for quite some time with the Temperance, and they've even been delayed. Maybe you've had to put certain things on the back burner. Perhaps there's been certain responsibilities that you've had to, push to the front lines that have taken precedence over whatever dreams or whatever things that you've wanted. So the Nine of Pentacles is creating a life that you love, that you are proud of. It is the card of individual achievement, self-sufficiency, and independence. Basically, what this is saying here is your hard work is paying off. Your hard work is paying off. So what empowers you? What is empowering you to reach these goals? What is the driving force behind this? And I feel like it goes back to that Nine of Swords, expansive thinking and not letting yourself get hung up on old limiting beliefs or letting the mind dictate you. You are controlling it. You are in the driver's seat. You have the Three of Cups and the Sun. These are the aspirations that are empowering you per se. There's something that fills you with bliss. Your hard work here is creating good luck. You've created your own luck, Taurus. And I feel like this is empowering you because what is it that's empowering you? It feels good. It feels warm. It feels like your energy is higher. Your vibration is higher. So whatever these aspirations and goals and things that you would like to achieve and accomplish are for you, which they will be different for each and every one of you. But the motivator is the sun. And when you have the motivator as the sun, there's nothing you cannot do. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. There is nothing that you cannot do. So Leo season could be a big one. I'm also getting celebrations for you. Some of you have new soul tribe coming in. You could even be starting a family, or there could be some new members of the family coming in 2025. Maybe there has already been maybe a pregnancy or news that someone is becoming pregnant or going to be a parent or a grandparent. I also see the Three of Cups as a time to focus, but also celebrate your wins, celebrate your successes. So that is going to help empower you. Because if there's something that you've achieved, celebrate it and sit in that energy for a while. Be proud of how far you've come. And then, of course, tackle whatever else you want to tackle. But so often we keep going and going and going. And before we know it, we're burnt out. And we're like, wait a second, does this even feel good to me? Was this even a victory for me? Well, it might not be if you're not actually celebrating it. But I see you are. Now, those are two beautiful energies to have as motivators. So, and empowerment. Now, the sun also showing up is saying, you may have pushed the ego aside and you may have pushed through that and said, I am going to work towards this energy and, let my ego sit in the passenger seat here, but I'm going to let my heart drive. and I'm going to let my head be the navigational system here. So I feel like you're using your heart to be in that driver's seat, making the choices, right? And then you're using your brain as the how do we move forward here? And then of course the ego comes when you need it to, because we all have ego in this human experience, but I feel like that's not the full driving force, which is beautiful. All right. Let's look at what could possibly challenge you, because we see that you're on top of your game. Taurus, this is a great energy to have, but let's see what may challenge you. And then we'll close down your reading with where you are headed in 2025. So what's going to challenge you? The Six of Swords, the stork. Okay. Six of Swords, better times ahead. Now, how is the Six of Swords a challenge? Because it means sometimes right when we move forward, you may look over your shoulder and say, wait a second, is this the forward direction that I want to go? And that can challenge you at times. But I'm also getting a fear of change, because the Six of Swords is change. It's travel. It could even be a new home and hearth, right? The Six of Swords is all about a spiritual journey. And so there could be some fear of the unknown as you're stepping into this. But like I said, you have done a lot of work. And a big part of the lessons in 2024, what did we say? Patience and trust. So trusting here that where you are headed is for your highest good. Spirit, how else is the Six of Swords a challenge? Okay. When we cling to old ways, old patterns, or old beliefs. And I feel like that's possibly why you are needing to focus on that Two of Cups, becoming that vibrational match towards what it is that you want. Because if you're focused on the past energy, or you're clinging to some old beliefs, you're going to stay in that vibrational frequency of the past, of the old. So that's why it's very important for you to do that work now. So when it does show up in the future, you can slip into that energy again. You can say, wait a second, I catch myself slipping back to something of the past. I don't want to be there, so I'm going to move forward. So I feel like this is actually a decent challenge for you to be able to move forward. Sometimes though, you may feel like you're taking 2 steps forward to take 3 steps back. So it still could feel like there's a little bit of stop and go, but I feel like that is actually part of the balance. That is part of you pausing and reflecting and being proud of how far you've come and being able to celebrate your wins and your successes instead of just going, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm stepping forward and I'm not ever, stepping back, because sometimes we need to pause and we need to reflect. But I feel like it's important not to stay there for forever. And I don't see you doing so, not with the Six of Swords. All right, final message here. Where are you headed in 2025? Where are you headed in 2025? Oh, look at this. Knight of Cups with the dolphin. First of all, looking at that cute little dolphin face, I'm getting playfulness. This is a year, 2025 is going to be a year of not just expansive thinking and celebration and new opportunities and endless possibilities, which is all beautiful, but it's also the Knight of Cups. It's joy, true romance, but also there could be a trickster energy here. And sometimes that dolphin can be a little bit of a trickster. So you could be meeting someone who's very funny, very humorous. But I see also you're going to meet people who, if they're not a vibrational match, you're going to know it right away, because that's part of you doing that healing work. So don't let the trickster energy trick you per se. The Knight of Cups is beautiful. This is action towards, again, letting the heart sit in that driver's seat. The Knight of Cups is being open to love in all forms. Being open to love for, the people around you, for what you do, for, life in itself, and including self-love. So for some of you, 2025 is going to bring in true romance, and maybe that's what that Two of Cups is all about. For others of you, this is going to bring in joy and fun, and I'm getting This is interesting. Deliciousness. So some of you, perhaps this is, exploring your taste buds, right? All of your senses. It's like sensory overload at times, but I feel, again, like I said earlier in your reading, you've come to Earth to experience it all. Like, you're not going to go back home, is what I say, or go back to the other side when you're done with this life and say, yeah, I just tried, an apple, and I tried, some spaghetti, and I tried some tacos, and those were the 3 foods. I didn't really try anything else because I know what I like. No, not you, Taurus. You're saying, I tried the sushi, not a fan. I also tried the gator, right? Or I tried, and of course, if you're vegan, awesome. But I feel like, metaphorically speaking, you're trying everything. You're trying a little taste of everything, because that's how you're going to know what you truly like, right? If you only stick to the spaghetti and the tacos, and yeah, those are great things, but I feel like you could be missing out on boundless opportunities. And that's why you have this card showing up for you in 2025, endless opportunities. Limitless was the other word that came up. So you're wanting to test everything out here. And sometimes that can be overwhelming, because the mind can become overburdened or overloaded with such sensory information or such research. You may always have your fingers in many different pots, but I feel like you're good at multitasking, Taurus, and I feel like you can do many different things, but it may not always be that way for you, where, you have a million things going on, but I definitely feel like you want to explore all your options, and then you're going to make a decision in what you like the most. Okay, then you're going to make a decision. So for example, perhaps you've had many relationships, or you've been married a few different times, right? I feel like you kind of had to put your feelers out there to really decide, what do I like? What type of relationships do I want to be in? And what does love really entail? Now that I've gone through, Billy, Johnny, Debbie, Polly, and Susie, right? Now that you have a little taste of what you love from those relationships, and things that also, kind of hit you the wrong way, I feel like you've been preparing for the right one. And that kind of goes with many aspects of your life, maybe your career, maybe your studies, perhaps your health. It almost feels like there's been a little bit of a process of elimination happening here for you, but I feel like you're still exploring possibilities. But the fact that I see the 2 of Cups and the Knight of Cups, you're drawing something in. You are opening up a new portal, a new doorway, a new possibility. And this is unlike any other one that you have explored prior. This one is exciting. So that is what I have for you, Taurus. I'm excited to, again, tap into your 2025 energy. So if you like the messages today, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. And again, thank you for being here. Lots of love.